So Alex is the founder of Space Marketplace, and he also operates several other subsidiaries like Space Marketing Agencies as well as SpaceTech in Gulf Magazine as well. And today he'll be taking a deep dive. It will be kind of a follow-up from my part. So I have touched on the narrative building aspect. Alex will be taking a deep dive more on the application side of the market. So Alex, on to you.
Thank you, Omkar. Thank you. Let me share my screen. Okay. You see my screen, right? Okay. Okay. So first of all, I want to say sorry. I was a little bit busy and lazy to make visuals for this presentation, so it will be a little bit not so visually appealing. But I wanted to speak about downstream segment and especially how to develop the marketing activities in this segment. So first of all, a few words about myself, why I'm believing in myself while presenting this topic is actually very simple. So we launched SpaceTech and Gulf 2 years ago. It's a media company that was the main goal of the company was to support space companies that are trying to penetrate Gulf and MENA markets. And one of our activities were webinars. So we launched our webinars in 2023, October 2023 was the first webinar. And so far we've done around 15 webinars on various topics, various regions and various industries. And during those webinars, we managed to collect lots of pain points of space companies that were trying again to penetrate, to increase their visibility, to find their first clients, to find first investments, and so on, so on, so on. Today, I wanted to speak about downstream, mainly Earth observation, because what we decided to do, we decided to start from scratch. Let me explain you. So my background is anthropology and social sciences. So basically, as a student, we conducted lots of surveys, lots of polls, lots of focus groups among various political leaders and groups and lots of students and farmers and so on and so on. And I wanted to start from the beginning. I repeat some scientific, social kind of researches, and we started to make some research among farmers in various regions. So we started with my home country, it's Moldova. Now we're conducting several researches in Africa, mainly in Nigeria, Rwanda, and so on. And later we want to see what is going on in Latin America and so on. So my presentation again will be about downstream and Earth observation. So first of all, I wanted to show that as an industry, like Earth observation companies are rising. So we've got on this picture we've got 2020. I found even 2025. So it's around 700 companies related to Earth observation. But if we're talking about Earth observation, AI for Earth observation, and so on, it's around 270 worldwide. So just imagine 270 companies, and you need to compete with them if you're developing your own service, and especially if you're developing something specific for some end users, you need to keep in mind that you get lots of competitors on the market. So lots of companies are providing same NDVI analysis, and so on, and they're basically targeting same region as you do. So what we find out, so we started with the research, we started with speaking with the farmers. And what we found out that there are mainly three problems they identified. First of all, space companies are approaching their potential customers with a message that is quite complicated. So as Omkar said, Daniela will tell more about the messaging itself. But what we find out is that all the wordings, like again, NDMI, AI for Earth observation, and so on, all these terms are very complicated. And when you're talking with the SMEs, with farmers who do have like 20, 50 hectares under possession, it's very complicated for them to learn those terms and to understand those terms. So that's the first point. Second point is what we find out is that, okay, farmers do not understand the message itself, but also they don't, in many cases, they don't interested or they don't have money to hire guys who will help them to understand the data. By data team, I mean consultants, I mean other guys, and so on. So we've done a focus group in Moldova, and what we find out is that so the farmers are not interested to get additional member to their team to understand the data that is provided by Earth observation. The last one, so the problem also is that after the usage of one or two times usage of NDVI, lots of them, not majority, but lots of them, they're not understand the product value. So what is it about? Why we're using it, and so on, so on. So we also, again, now conducting a focus, not a focus group, but a social survey in Africa. We're planning to speak with 200 farmers who has more than 20 hectares under their supervision or possession. And we are now researching what is their needs and what is their interest to the product. And what we find out, so we're somewhere in the middle, but we see some preliminary data that we can start interpret and so on. And what we find out that around 50%, on this stage, we got around 50% of the results. 80 plus farmers replied to our questionnaires. And we find out that around 70% they have no clue about Earth observation possibilities and services, but the majority of this 70 is actually quite interested to try it, not to use it on a daily basis, but at least to try it. So that's very very interesting, very important for teams to keep in mind that you need to speak with farmers first when you're working on your Earth observation tools and or AI and so on. So what are those solutions? Again, clear message. Daniela will tell you more about this. But again, if you're talking with farmers, speak with the farmers' language. If you're talking with the oil and gas, speak with the oil and gas language, and so on, so on, so on. Don't bring complicated terms. People don't like to learn new topics on this stage if they don't see the value, right? Additional value, it's very important thing. So what we are facing now on the market, right? Because we also are doing lots of market research, and you can go to our website and check our Saudi report, so money report. We're now preparing UAE report. So basically, half of these magazines are dedicated to market analysis, right? What we see that lots of Earth observation companies, they're quite focused on AI solutions. So they're developing their technologies. They want to have their own satellites. They want to do lots of cool features using AI and so on, so on, so on. But when we're speaking about real customers, the problem is that in some cases, the message is wrong when they're approaching customers. In some cases, there is no additional value. What do I mean by additional value? We have a very good partner, and I really like the story of this company. So it's an Earth observation company that is developing their own AI solution. It's partnering with lots of space companies and data providers and so on. But they position themselves as agricultural company. So what do I mean by this? So basically, they simply added a little bit more value to the platforms they possess, to this Earth observation platforms they do have. So they added farm management solution, and they became a farming company. So they became agricultural technologies and so on, so on, so on. But they're still relying on this Earth observation pattern and the pillar, and they're providing lots of Earth observation analysis to their clients, and that helps them to speak with their client more. Using their language, right? So because it's additional value. So they're not Earth observation company, they're a farming company, helping farmers to manage their fields with additional layer of Earth observation technologies and AI and so on. And the last one is the community building. I think it's the most important one. So again, we see 270 Earth observation companies on globally now, right? And it was in 2023. We see now even more companies, I assume, right? So the problem is that what we see on LinkedIn, especially, we see lots of messages, lots of activities on LinkedIn by Earth observation companies that are trying to distinguish between each other, to attract the attention from investors, to attract attention from government. As Omkar said, it's very, very important. Yes, but you will not get your first investments without clients, right? Because you need to show that the product is working. So one of the solutions is to start investing in community building. The most, not the easiest, but the most reliable way to start to communication with various associations, energy association, farmer association, environment association, and so on, so on. And convert them as not to convert, but to unite with them and to start offering their members services you can sell and so on. So basically integrate existing communities into your big community and so on. So by this, you also need to create. So we're speaking about clear message when you're selling your technologies to those communities, but in this way, so you need to create additional value to those communities. So more farmers or other kind of guys from industries will join those communities. So it's a little bit more complicated, but anyway, you're creating your big customer database, and that would be your future customers. So yeah, that's in short. We launched Space Marketing Agency a month ago. We do have our first clients, and we're helping to build communities and so on. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Alex, for touching upon the most important part of the commercialization. I think it is very important that the downstream market is, and the midstream as well, very well understanding what is going on in the upstream. Otherwise, who will basically pour in money, right? So without the upstream, without the downstream and the midstream, the upstream cannot really operate sustainably in a financial manner. So thank you very much. And I think we'll be coming to the questions part later.